As we look at this map of Kauai, you'll see that the Na Pali coastline area is highlighted. This is where I've just done the Kalalaw Trail. You would think that my afternoon boat tour of the Na Pali coastline area would leave from the Hanalei area of Kauai on the northern shoreline. After all, it's only a short distance from there to the Na Pali coastline. However, Hawaiian bylaws state that you're not allowed to use motorized engines in the Hanalei area of Kauai. Thus all boat tours start from the southern ports, so this is where I had to drive from Key Beach, past Hanalei, through Kappa, through Lilihu, and finally arriving at Port Allen. Here is the view of the harbour from the boat.
For the island of Kauai. And once we get outside of the harbor here, we are going to be out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, so again, please make sure that you're holding on as you move around the boat.
And now we've left the safety of the harbour area and we're now out at sea. As we look at this map of Kauai, we see Port Allen highlighted. We headed west along the southern shoreline, past Waimea, and then we rounded the most western point of Kauai, and then headed in a northeasterly direction to the Na Pali coastline. Here we are, rounding the eastern point of Kauai, and as you round this point, the sea becomes a lot rougher, plus you can spot Niihau, the Forbidden Island. Niihau has long been closed to outsiders, hence the nickname the Forbidden Island. The boat has now reached the Na Pali coastline, the spectacular 22-mile stretch of amazingly beautiful cliffs. A beach where green sea turtles lay their eggs. I'm zooming in so you can have a closer look at the green sea turtles. However, it's hard to keep the camera still since the swell of the sea makes the boat rock up and down. The ocean here off the Na Pali coastline is notorious for being very rough. For certain periods of the year it becomes so rough that the boats are often confined to the southern harbours for days on end because it's deemed too dangerous to sail. There's a house on a beach there. You can only reach that house by either boat or by a 5-mile walk from the end of the nearest road. And here we are, enjoying the spectacular views of the Na Pali coastline. The cliffs here are up to 4,000 feet in height, which is 1,200 metres. Amazingly, in the natural valleys along this coastline is where the first inhabitants of Kauai settled. They are believed to have arrived over 1,000 years ago from the Tahiti area of the Pacific, arriving in nothing less than large canoes. Considering how rough the sea is here, it's amazing that they made it at all. Here you can see the boat rocking from side to side in the strong ocean swell caused by the rough seas.
Back into the island there, that is the valley known as Aba Aba Valley. Aba Aba is a type of ginger leaf.
I'm zooming in on some sea caves. Some companies offer you the opportunity to explore these sea caves in kayaks. You obviously don't sail out in a kayak all this way. No, what happens is you go on the boat, as I am now, and then they drop you off in a kayak once you get to this point. You then explore the sea caves because they're only small enough for small boats or kayaks to get through. And once you are finished, you get back on the big boat and then sail back to Port Allen.
At the waterfall here, just to the left of the waterfall, there's a black...
The tour guide is pointing out a goat that he has spotted. Can you see it? It's hard to spot unless you freeze the picture, which I'm doing now. But once I do, you can see the goat clearly. At this time of day, as the sun casts deep shadows over the cliffs, they look absolutely spectacular. Don't you agree? This is the Na Pali Valley, and it's where Hollywood films 7 Days and 6 Nights were filmed, starring Harrison Ford and Anne Heche, and also the 1976 remake of King Kong.
The bridge at the back there is 4,000 feet on sea level. It's also called the Valley of the Elite.
This is Kauai Beach, and this is where the hiking trail that you saw me doing earlier would have finished if I'd done the full 11 miles. As I zoom in on the beach, you may be able to make out a few people there, because once you reach the end of the trail, it's another 11 miles back to the key beach. Hence most people decide to camp there overnight. Look at the magnificent cliffs behind Kauai Beach. This is why it's considered one of Hawaii's greatest trails, because it leads to sites like these at the end of the trail. On this boat tour of the Na Pali coastline, the Kauai Valley was the furthest point that we were to go to.
So right now, Bono and Eric need a volunteer to come on up here and
There you can see a helicopter doing an aerial tour of the island of Kauai. I went on such a tour. It was fantastic, but unfortunately the video footage from the company that I took the helicopter ride with did not turn out. Here's somebody familiar who's going to wave to you. I'm currently taking a break from the strenuous activity of filming the spectacular cliffs. At this point in the trip we got some food, which was not a very good idea for some people, since on the return journey to Port Allen it was to get very rough. And as a result of the very rough sea, lots of people were seasick. I was okay, but the gentleman you see there at the back of the boat in the white vest, he was very ill indeed. There's the sun setting over Niihau, a spectacular sight. And now, here we are, back in the safety of Port Allen Harbour. And there's the view of the boat that we did the trip with.